And so I was in the Albuquerque airport and I was walking to my plane and I thought, how stealth can I be sneaking up on someone? And I'm really light on my feet and I'm good at it. And so I noticed a lady walking and her plane ticket was sticking out of her pocket. And so I got right up behind her and I could not resist. And I just lifted her ticket right out of her pocket. And then I passed her and then I dropped the ticket. And then she passed me and I went, excuse me, tapped her on the shoulder, you dropped something. Whoa. And that's when I knew I had it.
I suppose I should start off by asking, has anyone ever been pickpocketed in their life? And then we'll go into the more serious questions. But
I've been mugged many times.
Many?
I've been stolen from. Have I ever had my pocket picked? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
I have,
You have?
But I wouldn't know it because the pickpocket was so good. Resembling this movie, you know, it's such a great thing. I don't know what John's preparation was, but I know that I keep looking at his fingers to see how facile he is with those, and I think he probably is.
John was going around. John tried to pick my mom's pocket. He'd get off the train. He'd go, "Yeah, I got off the train today, and I saw a couple of."
Oh, it's a skill.
Oh, sticking out, yeah.
I didn't do anything. He said I didn't do anything.
But there is this stuff with the QR codes.
QR code. He's got to rush out for the QR code.
What's the QR codes?
Don't ever use a QR code in a restaurant.
Why?
Because someone can intercept it with one of these high-powered phones and get into all your personal banking numbers in a matter of hours.
Like instead of it sending you to the menu for your cafe,
Your character could have here we are. He could have gotten into that. Yeah, if had he been, that could have been a path for him. But
don't just be
I suppose isn't that?
QR
Yeah,
codes.
yeah, that's true.
I've stopped someone from moving their pocket being picked.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, I was in Paris, and I noticed because you're on the metro in Paris,
Metropolitan.
and I noticed there was a guy, and I sort of gave the person a tap, and then the pickpocket sort of moved back.
Right.
But no, I've never had it picked, but I lose stuff, so
That's your own
could
thing.
be. Maybe
Yeah.
I just don't know it.
I've never been. I don't know if I've been robbed. I've been mugged. My mother was robbed. My father was at a racetrack once, and the guy was cutting his pocket with a razor.
Wow, that's real deal.
Very Italian.
And he caught the guy's, hand. But being, mugged it's not as elegant as being.
Sure
So my
isn't.
wife's been pickpocketed. They opened her purse while we were walking, and
Wow.
but they distracted her. They did on a street corner.
The whole
But
thing.
that's when people carry, cash because
Just like in the
card goes,
movie.
you
Yep.
can cancel it.
So what was the first inkling of the idea for this? Were you just thinking about digital versus analog world, or were you thinking about pickpocketers?
I think I was thinking about crime. I was thinking about, I was thinking about magic. I was thinking about sort of all of the incredible sort of skill that goes into being a magician, which is a very specific job that, if it sort of has one path. And then I thought, well, what's the other path? And this is the other path, right? And, and sort of the environment in which that has to flourish, which, immediately as a New Yorker, I think, well, it's got to be in New York. It's got to be part of that. And, I know people got their pocket picked. I know people who, I know people, I was, remember being a little kid, my mom getting mugged and running after the mugger and throwing her to with the guy and grabbing her. This was all part of this sort of small crime kind of ecosystem, which is endangered now, and I started thinking about that and kind of what that meant. And then the story popped in.
And you filmed in all 5 boroughs, right? As part of this, how much of how challenging an endeavor was the logistical production?
Off and on trains sometimes that we were supposed to do. I would get on and then I would go through and then jump off and people would go You know, that was kind of fun.
The funny part is one time we're on a train we're not supposed to be on, because there was a train that you can, there's a train you can rent.
Right.
And, there's some scenes, John Giancarlo had some scenes like that where you can, keep it quiet. So in case you want to have a long conversation, stuff like that. And as you can imagine, there's a price you pay for that. Then there's just, you go on a subway with a camera and a couple people and you do your thing. And I remember we were on the subway and John's like kind of like, he's kind of looking around, oh, what's he gonna do, and 2 cops get on the train and we think to ourselves, God, they're gonna get him. This is it. They're gonna like confiscate the camera. They're gonna tell us we gotta go. We're gonna be blacklisted. It's gonna be a whole thing. And as they get off the next stop, I just hear one cop turn to the other. He goes, "Told you it was him."
When you, and actually I feel like Giancarlo, you might have a good answer for this too. When you get recognized, whether it be by an NYPD officer or just anyone, do people like want to talk to you about one certain character, or is there like a quote people always want to quote back at you when they see you?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's always so different, but people recognize me quite a bit from Breaking Bad, Gustavo Fring, and some people don't want to say, I know who you are, and they say, is that you? And I say, well, are you who I think you are? And I say, well, who do you think I am?
You just kind of back up Gustavo Fring is. I read that.
Yeah, that's very.
It's really.
Have you ever been complimented for something that you weren't in?
Oh yeah, The Wire all the time.
I love to read The Wire. Sometimes
Didn't you say thank you? Or
when my ego's in the right place, I go, thank you. My ego's in the wrong place. I went in The Wire. Boy, you stupid. I did compliment you on Breaking Bad this morning.
You did right.
Because I watched it for the first
That
time
was cool.
over the break.
But what you didn't ask was if any of us have ever pickpocketed someone else.
oh, well, let's get into that. Sounds like you have a confession you want to make.
Well, no, I'm just wondering if anyone's like me,
Going a little method with their preparation.
I mean, but when I was a bartender, I used to take all my tips and split them up everywhere. So I'd have a lot of singles and like a 5 or a 10 and put them in my shoe walking home 2 o'clock in the morning. So I was ready to be robbed. And I was robbed a couple of times. And I just would take a big wad of ones, wrapped in a 5 and just, hand it over. I said, dig it all. Remember, I was all distributed. So I kind of turned the table.
I love it.
On the
I love
pickpocket. Yeah.
You did.
You really, though, you made us nervous. I was like, we're going to have to, because he's studying, John's studying and he's working with Apollo Robbins, who's this very, very.
He said I should do it. He said I should.
Well, it was, and John would go,
You did do it.
He's like, I was coming home last night on the subway, I was just, coming home, and I saw somebody's purse. I thought,
I had my hands a couple times.
I could get in it, but I didn't do it. But I wouldn't. I'm like,
Well, I didn't want to get her. Hurt the.
so we're gonna have to bail him out.
I was preparing for a role for a piece I did called Kaleidoscope, where I was a guy who was kind of a technical genius and kind of the #1 guy in a heist movie. And so I was in the Albuquerque airport and I was walking to my plane and I thought, how stealth can I be sneaking up on someone? And I'm really light on my feet and I'm good at it. And so I noticed a lady walking and her plane ticket was sticking out of her pocket. And so I got right up behind her and I could not resist. And I just lifted her ticket right out of her pocket. And then I passed her and then I dropped the ticket. And then she passed me and I went, excuse me, tapped her on the shoulder, you dropped something. Whoa. And that's when I knew I had it. That's when I knew, I could do this. Right. I have the guts. Like it was so your heart's pounding if you get caught. Yeah. And she turned around and went, oh, thank you so much. I went, you're welcome.
One thing that I'm asking everyone who comes in is if you remember what your first job was that gave you a paycheck where you could buy yourself a little something, and what that thing you got yourself was.
First paycheck?
Yeah, like your first acting role where
As
you could
an
go,
actor?
and you could go get yourself some people have said shoes, some people have said cars. It's really varied.
I was doing a play, an out-of-town tour of a show called Lost in the Stars that went to the Kennedy Center years ago. And this is back in Nixon era, somewhere around there. And I passed this store and they had this pair of semi-high-waisted gold pants.
Yeah.
it was just the color of these pants, and I couldn't get it off my mind. And I'm walking around in Converse All-Stars, and all my money's going to pay the mortgage for my mother and my brother, but I'm in the show. And one day I found my inner lion, and I went, I'm going to walk into the store. Now there's a 13-year-old kid walking into a haberdashery, and everyone's turns their heads, look at me, and the guy is like, what the hell could he want? And I said, those gold pants, I'd like to try those on. And he looked at me strangely again, and I had the money. I didn't tell my mother, and I bought those gold pants.
Yeah.
And it was the feeling of that. And when I wore them, I felt so responsible for myself, for my own style, that I finally stood up for myself and didn't give her all of my money, but I held some back, and I got these gold pants. So I'll never forget. It's still in my mind today. I can see them.
Wow.
I don't know where they ever went, but I don't know if I ever repeated having a pair of loud gold pants like that. But it really, it's the idea of it, the thought of it, is that's the first time I did something for myself in that way.
Love it.
It's amazing.
Oh, thanks. That's true.